Have you ever had a big animal, like a deer, jump in front of your car? Um, it's a terrifying experience. It's happened a few times to me, and 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. I've slammed on the brakes. I've almost hit a deer, um, like a couple times in Central Oregon. So scary stuff. If you haven't, you can imagine how scary that would be. All right, let's talk about this. So, our task today is to solve a problem like an engineer. Here's what that looks like. I want you to design a solution to a complex real world problem by breaking it down into smaller, more manageable problems that can be solved through engineering. Here's the situation. So, the Oregon Department of Transportation is in charge of all the highways in Oregon. And one thing that they've discovered is that cars are hitting deer more often on certain stretches of highway. You are a transportation engineer for ODOT who's been asked to reduce the number of deer collisions on a specific stretch of road by at least 50% next year. And your solution would also need to be approved by the citizens who live in the area. So you want to reduce deer vehicle collisions on roads, and you can't piss off the people in the area that live near these roads that you are changing. This is your challenge. Okay, so as I continue this video, I'd like for you to take a look at the rubric that's on the back of the handout that you've been given and look over what it takes to get proficient or highly proficient. I want to give you some work time reminders. So do your best. Any writing is better than nothing. There's lots of right answers here. I'm not fishing for any fishing. Get it. I'm not fishing for any one specific solution. There's a lot of ways to answer this. So please be creative. You can even enhance solutions that you know already exist. As in, like, you've been out on some of these roads and you have some ideas of how the Oregon Department of Transportation does kind of try to prevent some of these collisions. We're going to take a break halfway through the period. And you need to finish this today during class. Otherwise, you'll need to come into tutorial to finish this up. So write as much as you can. A quick note about tutorial. I'm not here today, obviously, but I've managed to get out of my meeting tomorrow, so I will be available for tutorial tomorrow. Please do not write on the reference page. When you get to part 3, you'll see that you're going to do a data analysis, and you'll be given a reference page that has 6 different figures on it. I'll talk a little bit about that in another video because I don't want to give you too much information in this one, but turn in both that and your work at the end of the period. Okay. This is designed as an individual assignment. So that is the way that it is intended, is to show your own thinking. However, if you are looking at this task and you're feeling like, gosh, I really feel like I'm going to struggle a lot with this, I'd really like to work with a partner, you can. Here's the catch. It's going to reduce the grade for both you and your partner. So both people need to be in agreement that this is all right. So it'll reduce it down to a maximum of a proficient grade. I also ask that you work with no more than one other person. You cannot work in large groups. So what that will look like is you'll write your own name on your paper. You're responsible for your own writing, but you'll write their name down below. It would be nice if it's still your own individual thinking and you guys are kind of bouncing ideas off of each other rather than just copying. That is my goal within this. Additionally, the substitute's going to be taking note of who is talking during work time, and regardless of whether you write that down on your paper, if it's been noted that you are talking, that is also going to reduce your grade right down because you're getting help with it. So please know that if somebody is asking you for help, remind them that it affects you if you're helping them out. So let's see. That's what I've got for work time reminders. Okay, so getting into the nitty gritty, I believe I went over this last class, but for part 1, you're using this paragraph at the top of your page. Reread this, and then you're going to restate it in one sentence in your own words what the main problem is that you're trying to solve. Once you come up with that, then you want to identify some sub-problems, these factors that might be contributing to that. So, can you come up with 2 questions that you can ask about the road to better understand how the road itself might be leading toward deer getting hit on the highway? Come up with like 2 questions about the road, 2 questions you might have about drivers and their driving habits or what they're doing, and 2 questions about the deer, and like their behavior, where they are, questions that might contribute to them getting hit. After you have written down your questions, think about which of these particular factors, the road, the drivers, or the deer, would be most interesting to try to address in your solution. What do you want to focus on for the rest of this assignment? So, focus on the road, drivers, or deer. You'll circle that one on your paper at the bottom of the page. On the other side, you will come up with some solutions. So, again, you're focusing on one specific thing: the road, the drivers, the deer. And all 3 of the solutions that you come up with are different ways of addressing that problem. So, for instance, if you were to focus on the subproblem of the road, you'd come up with 3 different solutions that are all different ways of changing up something about the road or adding something to the road that's going to address the problem. To get full credit, you'll explain what it is that you are doing, what your solution is, and then you'll explain why that solution would, you think, reduce the deer vehicle collisions. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video right here because that'll get you started. And then I'm going to create a separate video to go through part 3 and explain how to use this reference page. You don't have to watch that video if you feel pretty comfortable working through these figures, but it's there to help. So uh, you'll be able to find that other video in the assignment tracker. It'll be right up there. Okay.